this is Jerry with VetTechBytes, and today we are doing part 2 of our CRI calculations. So let's just jump right into it. Today we're going to be covering dilutions, which I think a lot of people really seem to get in their head about, because all of a sudden they don't know what they're talking about. But it's actually not all that complex once you kind of break down the reason behind what it is we're doing. Alright, so let's just kind of jump right into it, and we'll start off with a basic one, diluting fentanyl, right? Alright, so whenever we talk about dilutions, there's 5 pieces of information that you need in order to form and solve your equation. I recommend making a note of this and keeping it with you either on your pocket notebook or your phone or your workstation or wherever it is. So that way you always have it, you don't really have to worry about finding the information again. So the first thing I'm going to want is my weight. Second thing that I'll want is your drug and concentration. Third one I'm going to want is going to be our dosage. Dosage, remember what we learned in the last video, where dosage 5 mics per kg per hour, but our dose 200 micrograms per hour. Like, that's those differences. So you're going to need your dosage. We are going to need our desired rate. And the fifth thing we'll need to know is how long we want it, our duration. Right, so I'm going to leave that at the top of this screen, so that way we have it to reference for the rest of the video. But those are the 5 things that you need in order to solve this. But once you have all 5 of those things, it solves itself, and I'm going to show you how. We're going to get our 5 pieces of information, because that's how we solve every equation. So we have our doctor ordering a ketamine CRI for our 3 kg patient, and she would like it running at 10 mics per kg per minute. She would also like the CRI running at 1 mil per hour for a total of 4 hours. Right? So we have all 5 pieces of our information. We have our weight, we have our drug, and our concentration. It's going to be 100 mg per mil for ketamine. We have our dosage, we have our rate, and we have our duration. Right? So that's all that we need to solve our equation. So, just with the information we have already, we know that our CRI is running at 1 mil an hour for 4 hours, which is going to equal a total of 4 mLs, right? So what that tells us is that once we've calculated the amount of drug we need, the remainder is going to be whatever diluent it is, whether it be saline, sterile water, what have you, right? But this gives us the total amount of the CRI that we're going to be working with. So once we calculate the amount of drug, the rest is just diluent. So the next thing we're going to do is use our dosage to set up our math problem. So 10 micrograms per kilogram per minute. Anytime we hear per, we know that means multiplication, right? Per is multiplication. Always remember that. So we have 10 micrograms times 3 kilograms times 60 minutes. So 10 times 3 is 30. So that's 30 micrograms per minute times 60 minutes equals 1,800 micrograms per hour, right? It gives us most of our information. We're just going to divide it by 1,000 to get 1.8 mg per hour, right? And so we are going to be doing a total of 4 hours. So 1.8 times 4 hours, 7.2 milligram total. So we know for our whole 4-hour CRI that we need 7.2 milligrams of ketamine, right? And so since 7.2 divided by 100, 0.072 mils total. Super small amount, which is why we're diluting our medication, since our patient's too small to actually get that amount, right? So we know that we are only needing 0.072 mils total of ketamine for our CRI. So that means we have 4 mils minus 0.072, and that is going to equal 3.928 mils of diluent. So we know that we need a total of 0.72 mils of ketamine and 3.928, you can round, of diluent to equal total of 4 mils, where we can run at 1 mil an hour for our 3 kg patient to receive a 10 mic per kg per minute CRI. And that's it. A few lines of math. Alright, now let's do one more. Alright, so next up, let's do a Lidocaine CRI, right? But again, small patient, so we're going to have to dilute it. So we are going to be doing Lidocaine, which is 20 mg per mil, to get our 2.5 kg patient a total of 10 micrograms per kg per minute. And again, they're really small, so we're going to want to run it at 1 mil per hour. Again, this is the most common situation, and at some point we can go into doing multiple mils an hour. It adds a second layer of math to the whole situation, but let's just keep it easy and do it at 1 mil an hour. And let's do for 3 hours, right? And again, 1 mil an hour for 3 hours means we're going to be doing a total of 3 mLs for our CRI. We already have one piece of information. All right. Alright, and again, set up our dosage as our equation. It makes life 10 times easier. 10 micrograms per kilogram per minute. Alright, so now that we've set up our dosage as our equation, we are just going to go through it. 10 micrograms times 2.5 kilograms equals 25 micrograms per minute. So we need to multiply by 60 minutes to get per hour. So 25 times 60 equals 1,500 micrograms per hour. We need to get that into mgs per hour, so we're going to divide by 1,000, and we are going to get 1.5 milligrams per hour, right? But remember, our CRI is going to be 3 hours long, so 1.5 milligrams per hour times 3 hours is going to be a total of 4.5 milligrams. And again, that is a total drug for our CRI. And since we know that there is 20 milligrams per ml, 4.5 divided by 20, 0.225, or 0.23 mLs. So now we have our total mLs of drug that we're going to need for the CRI. So all we have left to do is do 3 mLs, which is our total volume for the CRI, minus 0.23, which is going to give us 2.77 mils of diluent. So that's our answer. We add 0.23 mils of lidocaine to 2.77 mils of diluent to get a total of 3 mils, which you give at 1 mil an hour to get a total of 10 mics per kg per minute of lidocaine for our patient. And that pretty much sums it up. The only thing you need to do are get those 5 pieces of information and then set your dosage up to be your math equation, and then it solves itself. Just follow the problem. Alright everybody, thanks for hanging out. I really hope this helped your CRI dilution game. If it did, please consider giving me a like, leave a comment, something, let me know. If it didn't, also let me know. I'm always looking to improve ways I can try to help people understand. I know everybody learns math a little differently. I just kind of explain the way that understands best to me. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next time on Vet Tech Bites.